Alright guys, Season 11 from start to finish, the brand new crafting and the full guide for a brand new item. So, just like in the previous seasons, you want to get a greater affixed item. We're going to go through all of the upgrades and sanctification in Season 11 from start again to finish. So the first start point is you get an item. Ideally you get as many greater affixes as possible, but realistically most people get like 1 GA. This is actually a pretty solid ring. There's a couple other rolls that you can get, like life per second and life on hit are actually pretty good stats now because the game is getting much tougher. So keep in mind, all the stats are going to be a little bit different in the new season. Now we have physical resistance, actually is a pretty decent stat as well, but this is a pretty solid ring. And once we get our item to be at least GA, you'll notice that there's also 4 rolls instead of 3. With the new tempering system, you only get 1 temper, but it's a pretty easy thing to get what you want on it because it's just 100%. So now what we do is once we get our item that we want to go ahead and craft on, the first step is to go temper on it. So we're going to go ahead and throw on a temper on it, and then we get to just select whatever we want. So we get to select from a big list over here, and like for my build, I actually want that cutthroat critical strike chance. And it's a lot harder to get 100% crit because you don't have like the masterworking that normally you would have. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get the highest roll here. And so you'll see that we got a 3 out of 6, but we still have a couple tempers to go for. And if you have the re-roll scrolls, it just gives you an additional temper. It doesn't reset all of them. But I'm going to still have this random range, okay? So this is the new update in Season 11 where you don't have any RNG with the stat that you want, as in, you know, poison damage, shadow damage. I'm always going to get, no matter what, I can select exactly what I want, which is good. Which I just want cutthroat. Let's say I'm happy with this so we can make the video not super long. So we get this. And then we can also masterwork it over here. So masterworking is a little bit different. And you'll see it's going to add something. So normally you just throw it in here and it would increase all of the stats. However, in Season 11, you'll see at the top, where it says all resistance. This is what quality does now. It does not give you percent base stats to all of the other rolls. It also goes up to 20, but all it's giving us is that extra quality. You can see where it says PH, which stands for placeholder. It's 14 out of 20 quality, but the attack speed, the critical strike chance, all of those things that you normally would get when you masterwork, all of these are dead. They don't do anything. But now what we're going to get is we are going to get a you'll see when it says upgrade, we're going to get a special thing that happens at the very end of this. It is kind of bugged right now, so you can see it says plus 75 critical strike damage over here. This should be like kind of a new special thing. Now, if I want to re-roll this is part of the new system. It requires what's called Neath Iron. Neath Iron is a very rare form of material that you'll get from world bosses, infernal hordes, escalations. You can also get it from Belial, or you can get it from elite monsters or bosses. So this is the brand new special material, and what we can do is we can re-roll it over here if I want to. For the sake of the video, we're just going to use the one that I have, and you'll see what we're going to get. Now we have attack speed over here, so that should be, it should be GA. There's a bug right now where some of the stuff doesn't appear correct in terms of the stats. It may actually be correct, but like we had like 75 crit, but now you can see it went down to 47 with the previous one. But we're not done yet. There's still other steps. So obviously you want to imprint, right? You want to make sure that you imprint before what we do, which is called Sanctification. So we'll go ahead and let's say imprint on this. And let's say I really want the aspect of elements, right? This is the one that I kind of do want. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this one in. And I'm going to go make sure that this roll, by the way, is perfect. The reason why is once we do this, we can no longer re-roll any of the other things. So make sure that that aspect that you put on the item is the best GG best in slot, because the next step over here will eventually make it, once we sanctify it, the item is no longer modifiable. Okay, so that's very important. Then what we're going to do is we are going to, let's say we want to re-roll something. Okay, right now I actually like all the stats here, but you know, that crit strike damage, you know, it could be a little bit higher, right? Or let's say this physical resistance. Maybe I don't want physical resistance. I want like dexterity. That could be a very viable option, right? So we could do that, or maybe we can get max life instead of physical res. But I'll be honest, physical res is not bad. I'm just showing you guys the different options. And you want to do all of this now. Like if I wanted to have something super offensive right now, the the good stat would be to get dexterity, but again, you can get max life. That's not a bad roll in a ring, but let's say I want like a generic kind of like a offensive ring here. Okay, so this is pretty solid over here. The next step, which is pretty normal, which you want to socket. Again, the reason why I'm doing all of the steps in order here is because at the very end, guys, it will be unmodifiable. Now, the one thing that you can modify it with is I can throw in any gem. So like, let me just go craft 2 different gems real quick. I'm just going to craft this one, and then we'll craft another one. And the reason why I want to show you guys this is that you can actually swap out. Normally you'd want skulls, by the way, in the ring, but this is the only thing, even though they say it's unmodifiable, this is the only thing that you can modify at the very end. Okay, so again, to do a quick recap, because this is very, very key and critical. We have the item, we have qualityed it up, we have put on the aspect, and we did any rerolls that we want to do. That's very key here, okay? And then we also are happy with the temper result because there's no modifying it. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go through this portal. It's called the Heavenly Forge. Now, if you do not have this unlocked, it's in the very beginning of Season 11. There's like a thing in the very beginning where it's like the seasonal quest line. What you're going to do is you're going to go, it's somewhere around over here. It's on like the right side of the map. I think it's like right around here. You'll basically just go there and you just go through a portal, and then this area will be permanently open. Now, it's in several of the towns. It's not just in Saragar. There's also one in Kilboshad. I'm just going to go ahead and load in so you guys can see it, because these are kind of like the 2 main areas that you'll go into, right, when you play Diablo, is Kilboshad as well as Saragar for doing the pit. But this is the portal. It's called the Heavenly Forge. Now, you're going to also require a material for the Sanctification. So I'm also going to let you guys know that this is the final step of the item process for crafting, but it is optional. And the reason why is you can get a lot of bad stats. You could literally remove, let's say it might remove our critical strike chance, and it'll be like indestructible. There's a lot of rolls that roll here towards the very end. We don't know all of the rolls currently, but I'm sure there's going to be a website, and eventually I'll make a guide that goes over all of the best rolls and the worst ones, but it's completely random. If you've ever played Path of Exile, it's literally Vol Orbing your item. But again, you only want to do this to your best install items, because the currency that's required is called the Heavenly Sigil. And if you're wondering where can you get these, you can get these by fighting some of the new bosses, but also in Helltide, these can drop from the chest. But these are super rare, at least at the moment, so who knows if we're going to be able to spam these. Now, you can only do this once per item. Once you do this, this is the final step. So again, make sure that you're happy with the results. Now, you can also infinitely retemper on your item, as long as you have those temper reroll scrolls. I don't have it in here, but basically, you would ideally get your item to be as perfect as possible. But we're going to go ahead and go to the Heavenly Forge. We're going to put in our item here, and then we are going to what's called Sanctify it. So again, it could do a lot of different things. So what it can do here is we can lose a stat to gain another stat. We can gain a free additional aspect. We can also have the item become indestructible, which means that the item has no durability, which is honestly a stupid one. It's like, it should be deleted out of the game because it's so bad. You could get a lot of bad stats here, but let's go and see what we get. So we're going to go ahead and Sanctify. We got a new affix added. That is a good stat. So you'll see that over on our item here, we now have plus dexterity. It looks kind of like some angel wings, because it's like angel crafting. It's the heavens crafting, whatever you want to call it. But basically, it's called Sanctification. And you'll see that it has that dexterity that we got for free. Now, remember how I was saying you can't modify the item anymore? You straight up cannot do anything to the item. There's no more tempering. There is no more go to the occultist and change. You can't even change the aspect, which, you know, I'm going to give him some feedback and let me know, guys, what you think of this. I think you should be able to change the aspect. I get not being able to modify the item in terms of like re-rolling other things. That's fine. But I think, come on, let us change the aspect at least, because sometimes we just want to move in certain slots, you know, and I think that that's reasonable. But this is the way it currently works. And again, you cannot change anything. But you can change the gems. Okay, I don't know if they're going to change this, but you can see I just swapped the gem for the poison res. So you can swap the gems, but that's it. Now, you can do this on all of your pieces of gear, but I'm going to warn you guys, it is not advisable to do it, because I have gotten items. You can see this is also sanctified. This one got ignored durability loss, which is a trash stat. It's basically nothing, but it did not brick. I did have a item where it removed my cooldown reduction, and it gave me like 6x. Not like like 6x, which is really like low. It's like basically like a passive on the tree. It's like 6x to like shadow damage, and I'm like, this is terrible. So you absolutely can brick items in here, and you guys can see this one over here also rolled dexterity as a sanctification mod. But kind of the new system as far as Diablo goes for your endgame progression is just getting all of your things sanctified. But there is a big risk when you do that, so keep that in mind as well. But that's the new progression from start to finish of your items in Season 11.